Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Not Too Comic Book. This being a show where I talk about TV shows that are adaptations of comic books. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about the latest episode of iZombie. A very good episode where we literally pick up right where last week's episode left off. We got Blaine and Liv full up zombie mode busting into the place. Kind of interestingly enough, I think Liv did the least amount of damage amongst them. I mean, to be fair, she didn't actually kill anyone. I mean, technically, I don't think Blaine did either. I'm pretty sure, the one that died, pretty sure that was Donnie who killed him. Maybe he got knocked out, but definitely Donnie started snacking on his brain. But Liv just started bashing one of them's head against the door, so, sadly ended up getting shot in the back. Ended up being okay, but still, Blaine got lucky, though, that Harley ran out of bullets before he could get, deal the finishing blow to Blaine, but still. So, and also the other two, kind of wanted to go out in a blaze of glory because Fillmore Graves showed up and they're like, drop your guns. They're like, nah, and they're about to go for it. Obliterated in an instant. So, and Rachel got out of there. Just so many different things. That's me just starting it off. Obviously, going to break down the episode. One major thing is includes major. It's about Shauna. From the very beginning was I said it before. I was I don't trust Shauna. There's something going on there. Even more so, even partway through the episode, I was yeah, she's up to something with all these pictures and stuff like that. She's got to be some attention seeker or seeking fame or something like that. Which luckily, Liv immediately brought that up. She's I don't trust her. She just happens to write to Major, and she includes a picture and stuff like that. It's but the fact of the matter is she's documenting all this stuff. She's shooting a video and pictures. Which to be fair, it's well, that's kind of this day and age. But at the same time, it's just I don't know. That's a little suspicious. At the same time, she's wanting Major to get out more and stuff like that, which is at the same time, it's well, she just, she likes Major, and she's just hey, I want you to not feel like you have to stay in just to be okay. That, you don't have to be tied down by all the things that people describe you as, that you're the chaos killer and stuff like that. It got even more pushed in that direction when Rachel was whoa, your roommate's a chaos killer, and bounced. But it turns out, in her words, because obviously Liv ended up finding that page, Tumblr page or whatever, later on is showing it to Major. And her defense for it was hey, I'm just trying to show the world how cool you are, that this is who you really are and everything, which is I don't know if I believe her or not. You want to believe her because they're oh, that's a good enough reason. But Major says, you should have told me ahead of time. And she's oh, but he kind of ends it because it's I can't trust you now, because you did all of this behind my back. If you had said something to me before that, I want to try and help your image and stuff like that, which kind of begs the question that kind of makes you think she didn't do it with good intentions, that she did just want it for fame seeking reasons. That's my own thoughts about it. Because the fact of the matter, she wrote that letter and everything and said she was accused of something she didn't do, so that has yet to come up. So I'm maybe she lied about that. Maybe that's her thing. We haven't really dived too deeply into who she is, but maybe there is a part of her that really was legitimately trying to do it for the goodness of her heart. But then later on, those t-shirts start popping up. They're called saying Killer Abs. It's a picture of him and her, and it's obviously everyone in town gets super pissed about it because it's oh, you're merchandising? Oh, all the people you hurt and everything, you're such a monster and stuff like that. Which then it's was it, first person we saw was the Fillmore Graves dude with it. But was it him who made it? I doubt it, because it wouldn't circulate as far as it did. So I'm thinking maybe Shauna did that, because immediately the moment he broke things off, she's okay, well, I hope, good luck trying to find a time machine. Him wanting to go back to the point no one knew his name. It's not I don't want you to go out there and trying to give me good press and stuff like that. I just want to disappear. I don't want anyone to notice me. Yes, it sucks that I have to kind of stay in and everything, but I don't want my name, I don't want this to kind of be the situation where we just because like I said, it sours things, because he probably does have the best of intentions, but the way it looks like you're just doing this for fame and attention. Because if you were hey, I want you to go out and everything, I feel you should ease him into it rather than kind of jumping all in. But then again, once again, it's that could just be her just being you just got to rip the Band-Aid off type of situation. So, especially if she made those t-shirts, because my thought was the fact is that she's like this, maybe she's actually is a little crazy in the moment. She's oh, you're gonna break my heart? Well, screw you, Major, and tries to give him the middle finger, make things worse. It's oh, I tried to help your reputation, I can make it worse now. Might be the case, might not be. We'll just kind of have to wait and see. But this also cements Major's whole situation of I have to stay with Fillmore Graves. It's the only place I fit in. That's why he can't let anyone know that he's not a zombie anymore. There's always a possibility that he can go back to being zombie again at any point, as we saw with Blaine. But then again, it's like now that he's human again, I don't think he'll ever want to go back to being a zombie because like there's so much you get out of life for being a human. Like he enjoys it and everything now, so I'm sure he's not willing to go down that route again. Especially if he does change his mind later on, there's no going back for it because they don't have any more cures and stuff. So, but that's definitely going to have to come out eventually, especially because obviously. You know, when they were tracking, like, Fillmore Graves was tracking down Harley, but he ended up finding out from Liv later on. It's like the whole thing was a setup because Harley had found the tracker. And so they went to the place and it was a trap. Some of the dudes actually died. I think it was at least 2 of them. And you see this local major's face, like, oh, holy crap. I guess it's because, for one, it's someone he knew died, which I guess for him it hasn't happened in a very long time. The last time that really happened was season 1 when he lost people he knew under some very extreme circumstances. Some of the like one of the particular people Blaine killed and got brains from in season 1 was one of the kids he was working with. So there's that. Plus, I think it kind of set in the whole like mortality situation. Like it's like, I mean, obviously if you're a zombie being blown to bits, I mean that's not going to help you either way, living or undead. But I think it put it in more perspective, like, oh yeah, I'm a human in this extremely dangerous situation, whereas most people are zombies. They can handle some, you know, a certain battle damage, but me, like, I take enough severe damage, I'm dead, you know. I mean, but the same thing kind of happens with zombies too. It's like one bullet to the head, they're gone. So I guess that's another way of looking at it. But it's just like that look in Major's eye to make me think like, man, like he seems scared. Like it made him think like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be out in the field again. But then it's like, you know, stuff where Shayna happens. So it's like kind of puts in that position, like, even though he is human, it's like that's the only place he can feel good, the only place he can just be himself without judgment or whatever, because everyone at Fillmore Graves knows the truth. So I'm very curious to see like where Major's story goes like this season. Will that come at like how long will this Chaos Killer thing follow him? And I mean, even more so with this new development with the shirts and everything, I feel like that's definitely going to kick up dust even more. So a very interesting thing in this episode was the fact is it was kind of like a weird moment where you had Blaine, Donnie, and Liv eating the same dude's brain, just like, oh, let's gather around. It's like, oh, this is good. It's weird because you've never seen that through the course of this show. And you have Robbie walking up. Obviously, he's a little banged up and everything, but he's just kind of like, I'm just gonna go, which is kind of interesting just seeing that. But also what it means later on when all 3 of them turn into like conspiracy theorists and everything. It's just like one throwing out conspiracy theories about Tupac and Biggie, and then there was that moment all 3 of them simultaneously had a vision at the same time. They were, whoa, did you see what I see? Yeah, I saw. You saw it too? Yeah. And then like Donnie's saying like, whoa, did we just have a 3-way? Which is so interesting because I don't think that's ever happened before, simultaneous visions like that. And I also appreciate the fact is that more and more they've never done that in the previous seasons, but this season they've made a point of doing it. It's like showing you the person's face when they're having a vision. They kind of went out of their way to show you that. They've never really shown the outside perspective of that before. I figured they were only doing that specifically for the blue brains, you know, the liquid that the brain soaked in. I figured that was the only reason. Side note, I don't think Robbie and them know that, you know, Blaine's been doing that. It's also interesting too because he's trying to introduce himself to Chase and everything. Be like, oh yeah, business, you know, trying to start a business partnership and everything like that. Which is kind of interesting because his dad set the whole thing in motion before, but I guess it never really went up the chain. He probably talked to people on the lower end of the food chain, but nevertheless, that's probably going to they're probably definitely going to cross paths and work together. I did appreciate when, like, you know, you had Chase being like, oh, is he a friend of yours? You have Liv looking at him like, are you crazy? Friends with him? Never, especially after everything Blaine has done, the murder, the lies and everything. So, but it's definitely going to be interesting to see what Chase decides to do because it seems like he's an opportunity type of guy. So it's like, oh, if he's presenting us with the brains and everything, even though, I keep forgetting the fact of the matter is they do eat regular brains. They're just mushed together with other stuff into like a paste or whatever. So you don't have to worry about the vision aspect. So at least that's kind of where my mindset's about that too. So I tend to forget because they have it like that. I guess in my head, I always think it's like artificial brains. It's like, no, that's regular brains that's mixed with other stuff. So they could always use another supplier to give them brains. I mean, the question that I'm curious about is what would happen if a blue brain was turned into like the tube stuff that they eat? What would that do? Would that being tubed up like that, whatever process they do, that makes it impossible for visions to come through. But if you get the blue stuff, the visions are so much stronger. Even during that process, would it make it hit you even more? I mean, it's kind of almost like getting a high. Like that's a zombie version of a high, is eating a brain like that, all like juiced up and everything. So Another development in this episode was the whole Rachel situation. Shauna and Rachel easily like, okay, don't trust him, and in fact, you don't trust him. I was like, the moment she shows up later on in the episode after Ravi told her everything, I was like, oh wow, he's opening up to her and everything. And then like immediately she shows up later on, I was like, oh my gosh, she's a reporter. And I was like, all right, she already said that like from the very beginning, like that she was a reporter. But I'm sure Ravi was telling her everything, like, yo, I'm telling you this so you know the truth and everything. He wasn't expecting her to go off and put it in the papers and stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure that main picture in front of the paper was a picture of Liv as a zombie. And it's like, dude, like everything he told her is probably in that. I don't know whether he told her about Fillmore Graves or not. I mean, because it's definitely going to put Ravi in a position, because it's like, how dare you open it? Because I was under the impression, I was thinking like, okay, so this is definitely going to be interesting, because obviously there's something there. At one point he's almost kissing her, but then I'm like, yo, what about Peyton? But then I guess that's not working out right now, especially after everything that happened between him and Caddy, so that's definitely kind of on ice. But then again, I was like, please don't do this, Ravi, because I want you and Peyton to be together. But then it's like, oh, maybe this is going to turn this on. I was like, just going to complicate things. It's like, things definitely going to get complicated now. So it makes you wonder, is she going to do the same thing as Shauna, being like, no, I just want to get the truth out there. You should be happy I'm doing this. It's like, no, because you're progressing the timetable that Fillmore Graves had about D-Day, Discovery Day. So it's kind of like, I don't know, because the whole point is to keep zombies on wraps. That's why they're doing everything that they're doing right now. It's trying to shut that down immediately so that people don't find out about zombies and everyone loses their damn mind. But now Robbie's taking that step forward. This means that he's putting Liv in danger too, because now he's putting, not only, once again, her picture's on the front, whether people will realize that's her or not. Still, someone pays enough attention, like, oh, this picture in front looks exactly like you. Once again, it's kind of like human nature to be like, oh, that's bull. Like, there's no way that's real. Because they even brought up some of the people saw the live stream and everything, like, the word kind of got out and feel like, oh, that's just part of some movie. That's not real and everything. So they're kind of able to sweep that under the rug and everything. So I'm definitely interested to see where, like, that goes. It's like, I wonder what her defense is going to be. Like, legitimately, Bobby is just like, the truth needed to get out there, so... Another thing that came up this episode is obviously like the weapons from Wally and his family's murder, as well as the attack on Baracus were like tied to Harley and everything. Like, it's like, oh, let's check the ammunition, check the ammo. Got a guy to check it because it's like, oh, we don't want Kavanaugh kind of finding out we got this and stuff. Immediately, Clive didn't believe it's like, oh, obviously he's behind this. They were able to track down Harley because he had this whole like secret compartment place under like his cabin and whatnot. And, more so specifically it's underneath the outhouse, but basically he has like a gun or something, or at least it looks like a gun. And so Clive shoots him, but Liv beforehand had a vision proving that Harley wasn't the one that killed Wally and his family, which I immediately was like, yeah, I know. From the very beginning, I was like, I already know. I was like, they're being set up. I knew they had nothing to do with it. There's no point. I was like, oh man, it's like ever since, like subsequently, I've always been like, no, this is all some big conspiracy, especially like after the whole Baracus attack. It's like, I don't think it's them. But it turns out to be the case is that, that's the truth. It wasn't them. They were outside the moment the gunfire went off. So Clyde for a second felt back. It's like, oh, I killed an innocent person. Turns out you didn't kill anyone because technically Harley was already dead because he became a zombie, which I was like, whoa. Interesting enough, becoming the very thing that you hate, which makes you wonder, what is Harley going to do from now on? Is he going to try and expose himself? It's like, look at me, I'm a zombie, you have to be scared of me, be aware of me. Or will he be more reluctant to be like, no, we got to protect zombies now because I am one of them and I'm not willing to die? Or will he keep that kind of martyr mentality of like, no, I'm willing to sacrifice myself for the sake of protecting the world from things like me? Or is he going to try and be like, no, I'm a good zombie, you got to keep me alive and everything? If you don't train yourself hard enough, like, your cravings will get the best of you, especially if he decides like, oh, I'm not going to eat, brains to sustain myself, and he just goes kind of feral and everything. So, it's definitely going to be interesting going forward to see that. But it kind of goes back to it, like, who is behind all this then? Who is the person that killed him? So I doubt it's Harley or anyone that's related to him that knows about zombies being real. I'm sure that, I don't know. Like, I wonder, like, who put, like, whenever I'm about to say who put that information up on the board, but it's like, no, we met the dude that put the information on the board. It was Yellow Jacket from Beyond. But, so, I'm still kind of in that realm of, like, this is kind of like an inside thing for whatever reason. Like, somebody might be trying to spark some stuff, trying to start stuff between the humans and the zombies. Like, that might be what this is all about. Maybe, maybe not. because I mean, we kind of like Peyton kind of found out a little bit more about on the Weckler front. She ends up talking to his daughter Tatum herself. Initially, Tatum didn't want to help out anything like that. I was like, okay, what's up with that? But you know, Peyton kind of convinces her. They go. She gets the memory card, and when Peyton, just as Tatum was about to leave, she has a vision, which you know, obviously, you know, Peyton knows the key signs, which you know, Tatum doesn't know that she knows. She probably doesn't even know that, like, because she met Liv last. Her and her friend or whoever she's living with met Liv last episode. Oh, there's zombies with the police department and everything. So now the question is like, how did this all happen? Like, is it Baracus that's behind all of this? Because a zombie has to be involved in everything. So it's like, was she scratched and turned into a zombie as leverage against Weckler to get, you know, get the memory card and everything? Because as Liv points out, it's like, yeah, in fact, he is one of the people that's up there. And they're like, oh, maybe he hired someone to do it. But then again, it's like, the question is also, was she already a zombie before this all played out? Or did Baracus change her? Or maybe it was someone else. Like, Peyton's not 100% sold on this whole situation. She knows he's involved, but she doesn't know for sure if he's directly at the very least, a serial killer killing Weckler, the guy, the police, the guard that was hired to kill Weckler too. Like, she doesn't believe that he's behind all that, but it does beg the question, like, he is in the middle of this some shape or form. My money's still on Fillmore Graves because they have the widest connections and stuff like that. I get the feeling like he asked them to clean it up. We'll just kind of have to wait and see on that front, whether that it's. I'm still curious to see how that all plays out. Because I feel like at this point, like Tatum's, like she's trying so hard not to be part of this investigation. Like, oh yeah, it doesn't matter who killed my dad. It's like, something's up there. Either her dad wasn't a good guy or something, which is why she's not worried about finding out the truth. Or maybe it is to protect herself. But it's like, the way she's acting so nonchalant, especially last episode, oh, I guess there's zombies working. Like, no, like if that was the case, I feel like you would have opened up to Liv. It's like, yo, as another zombie, I need your help in this particular situation. Or, you know, her friend's one too. Or like I said, the person she's living with. So it's like, maybe she's a part of this situation too. Like maybe she, like I said, maybe her dad wasn't a good person and maybe she willingly was like, yeah, my dad forced my dad to be a part of this situation. Oh, he's dead now? Oh, well, you know, maybe she's looking out for her own self-interest. Maybe it's like, oh, like if she gets too involved, maybe she'll get cut off from Fillmore Graves. Like I said, they've got the tubes. They're the only ones that have the tubes. So I almost forgot about that. So there's no way she's not connected to Fillmore Graves. But the question is like, how do all these dots connect? Like I brought up, it has to be about Baracus because it's like him being on a tape screws over Fillmore Graves because they have an investment in him becoming the next mayor. That's what like Chase had already said, like the episode where he got attacked. Once again, I believe that was fake, especially now that we know it's like, oh, that attack was done by the same person. I already from the beginning was like, okay, so now we've established that it was the same guns used in both cases. So it's like the person who owned those guns was the one that killed Wally and his family. So I believe from the very beginning that whole Baracus thing was too much of a stunt. It's like you happen to hit. I mean, granted, you wouldn't know he's a zombie, but it's still like, I don't know. Like, I feel like that was a stunt to kind of bolster his polls, especially now that he's won and everything, because that really helped him in the polls and stuff like that. So that puts it directly on Fillmore Graves if they were the ones that went on the attack. But I think it's like, I think they would, because Harley and his people didn't even know about him being a zombie. Did they even know that everyone related to the kill? I'm trying to remember. Did they even know that everyone related to the Chaos Killer's victims are zombies? I don't think they knew that, or did they? I don't remember. So it's definitely going to be very interesting. Like I said, I feel like this has all been some incident to kind of push the narrative in a certain way. And that's kind of something similar to Rachel too, because I feel like the thing with Rachel's paper too is, you don't know what side of things she's going to put in that paper. And that's something I meant to bring up earlier. It's like, you know, if she's writing that, she could swing the narrative in whatever way she wants to. It's like, oh, leaving out everything Ravi said about zombies being good people. Yes, there's some monsters, but there's also good people like Liv, obviously, who, you know, try to solve crimes every day. But it's, like I said, this situation, like, depending on how many people believe it, depending on the newspaper and stuff like that, you know, how much evidence she has to back it up. Maybe she has recordings of her conversation with Ravi and stuff like that, to let her editor I mean, it seems like who knows? It might just be a tabloid type of thing where people are like, oh, that's nothing. Or it might be a legit newspaper. But the thing is, like, she could change the narrative however she wants to, make it fit whatever narrative she wants to get out there. Like, oh, zombies are 100% bad. Watch out for the monsters that lurk in. Like, she might not have included anything about there being good zombies and stuff like that. Which would make you wonder, because, like, she went out of her way to be like, oh, oh, zombies, like, oh, this is inhumane treating, Donnie like that and everything. So was that an act or was it real? Like, hopefully she did kind of use exactly what Ravi said, but it does beg the question, like, once again, what is her defense going for her? But getting back to what I'm saying, it's like, now, like, if, Fillmore Gray's being involved, they can get whatever they want because they're like, Baracus, oh, dude, we gave you your position, your power, do what we say. So, once again, though, is it like, at what point did this become a thing? Was this, I mean, because obviously Wally and his family dying was with Vivian. So, once again, is Vivian actually still alive and just working things behind the shadows? Or is she and Home Dude actually dead and is actually Chase who did it? I don't know. Or maybe he's actually involved. Maybe he's just here to be the face of things while Vivian just kind of lay low. So, it's a lot easier to do what she needs to do and wants to do. So many questions, so many possibilities. I just have to wait to see where things go from here. But I'm very excited, kind of conspiracy theories of my own, I guess you can really say. I mean, this is actually kind of the perfect brain for Liv to be on with this whole situation because it is one giant conspiracy and you can see the pieces lining up. You just don't quite... I have my thought, like I put out there why I think things have been. Like, this is all about power and position and starting possibly inciting stuff, to rally behind certain things or, kind of get, people more on your side about certain things. Like, oh, get all zombies like backing you up. Like, oh, we can't, maybe this is preparation to make it so that zombies overtake the city and then kind of turn into eventually expand upon it and just make more and more and more of the world zombies and slowly whittle out all of humanity. So, especially because we can see Chase isn't all that fond of humans anyway. Which is kind of, I know it's interesting when you break it down like that, because was it the last episode, or was it the episode before last, the whole situation with like, oh yeah, it was the episode before last, don't tell, oh, you brought a human into all this stuff. Like, I mean, I'm sure like people have their reservations about the fact that she's close to so many humans, Clive and Ravi, and even Peyton, so, like I said, we'll just kind of have to wait and see, whether, anything comes from those, so, but like always, like I said earlier, a very, very good episode. But really, that's all I want to talk about in this episode. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day, and goodbye.